Greetings, members of Mile High Church and friends. My name is Art Jones. I'm grateful to Caroline Turner and Reverend Josh Reeves for inviting me to participate in the planning of Mile High Church's presentation of the film series, Race, the Power of an Illusion. And I just want to say a few words about it. This three-part film series was produced by California Newsreel several years ago, and it continues as an important resource for all of us today. In America, we have all grown up with the idea of genetically based racial diversity, expressed outwardly by physical markers like skin color, hair texture, and the size and shape of our eyes. But of course, our awareness of such physical differences would not be problematic if we did not use them to assign each other to designated places on a social ladder of power and privilege, or if we did not use them as a way to justify the exploitation, abuse, and mistreatment of fellow human beings who have been assigned to the lowest rungs of that ladder. In Race, the Power of an Illusion, all of our preconditioned ideas about race get challenged. In part one, we are introduced to a multifaceted scientific challenge to the very idea of race as a meaningful genetic marker of individual differences. We learn, in fact, that many of us have more in common biologically with people who are different from us racially than with people in our own racial group. It's an eye-opening perspective that upends so much of what we've been taught in our culture. In part two of the series, we learned that, in fact, the very idea of race is a recent concept if we examine it through the arc of human history. It is just one of many different and very arbitrary ways in which human beings have established social hierarchies of power and privilege. In part three, we learned the ways in which race, in spite of its unscientific status as a meaningful biological category, has been used skillfully and powerfully as a way to systematically disempower so-called people of color, and as the basis for setting up systems in our social institutions and customs that privilege folks designated as quote-unquote white. Engagement with a film series like this is a powerful way for those of us who consider ourselves to be people of faith to understand what it really means that we are all created in the image of God. This in turn gives us a unifying bond for confronting many of the artificial divisions and challenges that continue to plague us in this first quarter of the 21st century. Unfortunately, because of competing demands in my schedule, I will not be able to be present with you at Mile High Church for the viewing of parts 1 and part 2 of the series. However, I'm looking forward to being there with you for part 3 and for a follow-up session if that ends up being scheduled. But please know that my spirit will be there with you throughout the whole series. Thank you.